The snow continues to fall. How much can we expect again overnight? We'll have an update on the road conditions as well. That's right now at 10.
Foxconn falls short of its 2018 hiring quota, what it means for its tax incentives moving forward.
And later we hear from the 911 dispatcher who took the call when Jamie Kloss was found alive.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. The snow is coming down. It won't be stopping for several hours.
It started around 3 o'clock this afternoon, prompting several early school closures and bringing traffic to near standstills. We have team coverage of tonight's storm. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is keeping an eye on just how much snow we're going to get. And Rock County reporter Adam Duxter is along Milton Avenue in Janesville. Let's begin with Gary on the backyard patio with our first alert forecast. Gary?
Well, I'm out here with our official measuring stick. I've got about 4 inches of snow in the backyard right now. I've seen some reports farther out to the west toward Prairie du Chien and into western portions of Iowa County of about 6 to 8 inches of snow there and up to a foot in parts of southeastern Minnesota. And you can see that snow extends back into much of southeastern Minnesota and eastern Iowa up to about the I-35 corridor from the Twin Cities down toward Des Moines. So it's going to be snowing for a while. The darker areas of blue are the heavier bursts of snow. Looks like one approaching the Mississippi River from the west. As we zoom into southern Wisconsin, also another heavier burst of snow from Janesville eastward toward the Milwaukee and Kenosha areas, and then a little bit of a lighter area in between. Snow totals expected to be in the 5 to 8 inch range, 3 to 6 inches north of Madison, and about 2 to 4 inches north of the Dells. Visibility is generally running around a mile or a little bit less in light to occasionally moderate snow. Dubuque, Iowa right now reporting moderate snow and about a half-mile visibility. Temperatures in the middle teens, middle to upper teens. They haven't changed very much, but the winds continue out of the northeast. They'll continue to pick up overnight and could lead to some blowing snow problems tomorrow. And wind chills are in the single digits above zero now. By Sunday morning, they could be as cold as around 20 degrees below zero. So by tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to be in the lower to middle teens with the snow coming to an end. Skies will turn sunny, but again, there could be some issues with blowing snow. High temperatures tomorrow around 18. Later on, I'll take a look at another chance for accumulating snow sometime next week.
Gary, thank you. As you can imagine, the snow and wind has really taken a toll on our roads. This is a live picture from the Beltline at Fish Hatchery Road. During rush hour, this was basically a standstill. According to the state's travel map, all of the main highways and interstates in the area are either snow or ice covered. Areas to the south are expected to get hit the hardest tonight. Some places could see 5 to 8 inches overnight.
Adam Duxter is live in Janesville. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Eric and Charlotte, we're live along Milton Avenue in Janesville where there's not much traffic to be at a standstill, but nearby at Highway 3990, still plenty of people trying to get to and from home tonight. And for the people that are tasked with keeping them safe on this wintry night, it could be a tough job. For the first time this winter, southern Wisconsin is bracing for a substantial snowfall, with areas like Beloit and Janesville expected to be hit the hardest.
We're preparing for the worst, but we're hoping for the best.
Sarah Millard says the city of Beloit could see anywhere from 3 to 9 inches of snow today, but says she's confident they've done enough to prepare.
They have the operational plan ready to go months in advance of any winter storm. So they're ready to go. They're prepared for this, and it's not going to take us by surprise. We're in Wisconsin.
But as the roads get worse, State Patrol troopers are on the lookout, trying to spot dangerous situations as they're happening.
We're just making sure people see us, we're visible. Hopefully that will deter some people from their reckless driving.
Master Trooper Matthew Hauser says the main issue he sees is people driving too fast.
There are people that I can clock with my radar going 80+ miles an hour. And during adverse weather conditions, we'd like people to slow down.
And says as the snow continues to fall tonight, the best things you can do are slow down, leave plenty of time in advance, and leave space between you and the car in front of you. And if you do find yourself in a bad situation, Master Trooper Hauser says the best thing to do is to call 911, even if you feel like your situation might not necessarily warrant it. He said that's the best way to get the help to you. And he also says if you do find yourself stopped for whatever reason, do not get out of your car. He says to stay in your car until help does arrive.
Adam Duxter along the interstate tonight. Adam, thank you. It's a busy night for snow plows, but it's what some drivers have actually been hoping for. Barnes does snow removal in Madison. One manager says the unusually slow winter we've had so far can make it hard on workers hoping to earn a good paycheck, but they've used that time to make sure their fleet of plows are prepared.
All of our trucks are fully fueled and serviced, and they've been double and triple checked. And that's the key, is to be prepared. And when you have enough time like we've had this winter, it makes that pretty easy.
He says just as important as getting the trucks ready is preparing the drivers, who he guesses will be working shifts of 12 to 16 hours tonight.
And if your plans depend on the weather throughout the weekend, you need to get our accurate 12-hour and 10-day forecast, up to the moment traffic information as well, all on the go. Just download our Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. It is free right now in your app store. New tonight, Foxconn did not create enough jobs in Wisconsin in 2018 to immediately claim state tax credits. The company finished the year with 178 full-time employees. That is 82 short of the minimum required to claim the job creation tax credits. Foxconn can still earn credit for 2018 by making up the shortfall in future years. The company eventually could earn $1.5 billion in credits as part of a $4 billion total public incentive package.
Continuing coverage of the Jamie Kloss case. Tonight we are hearing from the Douglas County dispatcher who received the 911 call that Jamie had escaped. Amy Pullen recalls what it was like realizing that after weeks of searching, Jamie Kloss was found alive.
You know, to be honest with you, there's so many things that happened that day, and I haven't really even sat down and listened to the entire call. I just remember hearing Jamie Kloss, and that's when it took me a couple of seconds to realize what she had said. And I remember asking her, you know, have you seen this girl's picture? I wanted to make sure that she knew, or that this was real. And she said, I'm 100% sure that this is her.
The suspect in the case, 21-year-old Jake Patterson, is being held on a $5 million bond.
Police have still not identified a man who died after his SUV went through a northwestern Wisconsin lake. Happened about 5 last night. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says authorities received a 911 call about that truck going through the ice on Balsam Lake. But 25 minutes later, they recovered the body. They say the SUV had Minnesota license plates. The Dane County Medical Examiner has released the identity of a body found in Marshall as that of Kurt Meyer of Cottage Grove. Meyer was reported missing Saturday. On Thursday, police responded to reports of a suspicious vehicle in the Evergreen Village Mobile Home Park in Marshall. An hour later, residents Susan and Jeff LaBelle spotted Meyer's body outside their home. That's obviously the wrong video there. LaBelle said it looked as if Meyer's body had been on the ground for a while. The Dane County Medical Examiner says the cause and the manner of death is still pending.
A Middleton High School teacher is on leave while the district investigates an accusation the teacher used a racial slur. The district says they got the report earlier this week. Several similar incidents have been reported in Madison schools over the past few months. Just this week, a substitute teacher was banned from the Madison Metropolitan School District. An update to our breaking news from last night. Officers arrested a teenager after he crashed into a home on East Dayton Street around 9:30 last night. The car also hit a gas meter, causing firefighters to evacuate nearby homes. Police arrested 19-year-old Cade Hellenbrand for first offense, operating while impaired. But Hellenbrand tells News 3 he has a seizure disorder, and that is what caused him to crash.
So what happens when I have seizures is I can't mentally focus on anything. I get super dizzy, and I got out of the car and I passed out on the ground.
Madison police say they found a drug paraphernalia in his car indicating marijuana use. Hellenbrand says he uses marijuana but was not under the influence at the time of the crash.
Johnsonville is recalling more than 48,000 pounds of raw ground frozen pork patties that may be contaminated with materials, possibly even black rubber. The Sheboygan Falls-based company issued that recall today. The products were produced and packaged with the name Johnsonville Grillers, cheddar cheese and bacon flavor. We have all of the information on our website, channel3000.com. State Department of Workforce Development has confirmed 2 Madison Shopco locations will be closing. Both the locations on Zier Road and Mineral Point Road will be closing in mid-April. Shopco anticipates 63 employees will be affected. The closure is expected to be permanent. Shopco filed for bankruptcy on Wednesday. For the first time in U.S. history, more people are dying from opioid overdoses than car crashes.
That is according to a new report by the National Safety Council. There's now a 1 in 96 chance of dying from an opioid overdose. The chances of dying from a car crash is 1 in 103. Here in Madison, we are no exception to these stats. The Dane County Sheriff says the department responds to more than a dozen overdose calls a week.
Heartbreaking, because we know that what the impact is of the abuse of opiates. We know the pattern in talking to people, their pattern of how they began using painkillers and now have resulted in the use of heroin.
Sheriff Mahoney says all his deputies are now equipped with Narcan. They are trained to give it to people who overdose before paramedics get to the scene. He says they have been able to save more lives on overdose calls because of it.
Still ahead tonight at 10, the former Chicago police officer convicted in the shooting death of Laquan McDonald is sentenced to prison time tonight.
And President Trump will once again meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. What we know about this second summit, next at 10.
President Trump will be making what he calls a major announcement tomorrow about the southern border wall and the government shutdown, which is about to enter its 29th day. The two sides dug in this week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accused President Trump of irresponsible behavior when he publicly announced in a letter that her trip to visit U.S. troops in Afghanistan was postponed. The Speaker and the President are at odds over billions of dollars in funding to build the wall on the southern border. A second summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will happen next month.
The announcement from the White House came after the president met with a North Korean lead negotiator for about 90 minutes in the Oval Office. They say the summit will happen in late February, but didn't give any specifics. Los Angeles teachers returned to the bargaining table today as the strike continued into its 5th day. The school district says the teachers' demands could bankrupt the system, but strikers say it's more about than paychecks. In addition to higher pay, the teachers are asking for more nurses and counselors, and most of all, smaller class sizes. Schools have remained open during the strike, with substitutes filling in for striking teachers.
The former Chicago police officer convicted of killing 17-year-old Laquan McDonald has been sentenced to 6 years and 8 months in prison. This shooting happened in 2014. Jason Van Dyke was convicted of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm. The video of the shooting prompted protests throughout Chicago and fueled the ongoing nationwide conversation about police shootings. New tonight, police in Tempe, Arizona have released body camera footage of a shooting on Tuesday that left a 14-year-old burglary suspect dead.
CBS News correspondent Chris Martinez has the story.
Police released dramatic body camera footage showing the moment a 14-year-old burglary suspect who was holding a replica handgun was shot to death by an officer.
We learned that the suspect had just stolen that firearm from the truck that he was in when the officer arrived.
Calling the incident tragic at a Friday news conference, Tempe Police Chief Sylvia Moyer said someone called 911 to report the burglary of a pickup truck parked in an alley behind a home.
My house just got robbed last week, so I'm just like super suspicious of anybody going down the alley looking shady.
Police say a uniformed officer in a marked car arrived and saw the teen inside the truck holding a handgun. Family identified him as Antonio Arce.
It appeared that that suspect saw Officer Hine as he exited the truck, and our officer yelled at the suspect. The body-worn camera lost sight of the suspect for a brief period as he started to run down the alley.
According to police, Arce did not obey the officer's command to show his hands, and he fired twice. Arce's brother isn't buying the official story.
I didn't know him as someone who stole. That's why I don't believe that.
Shot fired, shot fired.
Responding officers found Arce near the end of the alley. They started to perform CPR and called for paramedics. He was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The officer was placed on administrative leave.
What do we want? Justice!
About 100 protesters demanded justice outside the police department. Chris Martinez, CBS News.
Police say the suspect was also in possession of other items that he had stolen from that truck. A part of Tenney Lagoon at Tenney Park remains closed tonight after a piece of equipment went through the ice. According to a post from the city's parks Facebook page, staff was trying to groom the ice when this happened. No one was hurt, but they were able to keep part of the lagoon open.
We go to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti now. Alert days for the weekend. Of course, we know the snow, Gary, and there's some cold coming after it, right?
Yeah, I think the ice on the lagoons and the lakes will probably thicken up pretty much over the next couple of days as temperatures really nosedive. Tonight, snow accumulating about 2 to 4 inches up north toward the Dells and areas north of there, 3 to 6 inches for areas north of Madison, and about 5 to 8 inches from Madison southward toward the Illinois state line. The snow will end tomorrow morning, but blowing and drifting snow will be a problem through the day as the winds continue brisk, and it'll be very cold with high temperatures only in the upper teens. And then by tomorrow night, even though the winds will diminish a little bit, the skies will clear out, and with that fresh snow cover, temperatures will drop to near zero with wind chills perhaps 10 to 20 below zero by early on Sunday morning, and high temperatures only making the lower teens on Sunday. As far as the snow totals so far, these are some of the reports that we've seen. About a foot of snow in Brownsdale, Minnesota, 10.5 inches in Carpenter, Iowa, 8.5 inches in Decorah, Iowa, as well as just north of Prairie du Chien. Hollandale, about 4.7 inches. I just checked in the News 3 backyard. Our snowfall right now at about 4 inches, and it's still coming down pretty steadily. And again, we're probably thinking the heaviest snow from southeastern Minnesota through northeastern Iowa and eventually targeting Madison and areas toward the south. Lighter snows up to the north, but still several inches. Everybody will have a pretty good dusting of, or covering of snow by the time the storm ends. And you can see the snow is still widespread across southern Wisconsin. These areas of heavier snow are in the darker blue shades. Looks like another one is approaching the areas north of Prairie du Chien over toward Viroqua. So we still may have another burst of snow before about maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then the back edge of the snow will start to move eastward. And I think this whole system should wind down pretty quickly towards sunrise tomorrow. The lower the visibility, the heavier the snow. Right now, 3/4 of a mile visibility in Madison, half mile in Dubuque, Iowa, as well as Iowa City, Iowa. So you can see where the heavier bands of snow are. The visibility is starting to improve farther to the west in Minnesota. Winter storm warnings have been expanded into Sauk County now, but include all of southern Wisconsin from Madison southward to the north. Winter weather advisories. The warnings run until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning from Madison westward east of Madison toward Milwaukee. The advisories and warnings run until noon tomorrow for the snow to wind down a little bit later. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. You can see the snow coming down at a pretty good clip. High today 26, low temperature of 14, very close to what we should be for this time of year. But the temperature of 17 has stayed steady all evening. Light snow being reported at the airport. Winds out of the northeast at 9 miles per hour. Drop our wind chill to 6 degrees. Temperatures are already below zero through northern Minnesota, up near Lake Superior, with wind chills running 15 to 25 below zero up there. Our wind chills right now single digits above zero, but again, those wind chills will drop as temperatures drop early on Sunday morning. The storm system now starting to spin up. The main part of the storm will pass far enough to the south that fortunately the most significant precipitation will stay away from us, but the overrunning from a front just to our south is just enough to squeeze out almost a foot of snow over parts of Minnesota and maybe up to 8 or 9 inches in parts of southern Wisconsin before all is said and done. Our forecast includes that winter storm warning through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for Dane County and areas to the south and west. East of Dane County runs until noon tomorrow. Look for a low of 13 overnight with the snow winding down toward morning. Tomorrow, look for any snow to end early. It'll be windy with some blowing snow. High of 18, and skies will actually turn sunny by afternoon. On future track, the snow gradually winds down early tomorrow morning and then moves out with some sunshine appearing, but highs only in the upper teens. By Sunday morning, we're down to around zero with wind chills to minus 20. And Sunday afternoon, look for high temperatures only in the lower teens with maybe a flurry chance. And again, the heaviest snows, when all said and done, just south and southwest of Madison, lighter amounts farther up to the north. 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures cold for the latter part of the weekend. Another weather system will bring some accumulating snow from Monday night into Tuesday. That will wind down early on Wednesday. And then after that, looks like more cold weather with another chance of snow towards Sunday of next week. So temperatures are going to stay cold now that we have some snow on the ground.
It is undoubtedly winter.
It is.
Gary, thank you.
Sure.
Another barn burner tonight. Our Prep Media Game of the Week. We'll have the highlights and post-game report just ahead in sports.
Well, this is why you always play the rivalry games, people. Madison West handing Madison East its first loss of the season, 96-83, the final score. So even bigger stakes tonight in our game of the week, Memorial at La Follette. These two teams tied for second in the Big Eight coming into tonight. So now it's up for grabs. Dryden Schaefer here for the 3 to start. Spartans off to a 11-1 run. But La Follette coming back and more, tied at 14 now. Donnell Gray pulls up for the jumper. Lancers with the 2-point lead. And then later, Ben Probst, the spin move for the bucket, but La Follette, they're in the lead by 2 at halftime. Second half action here now. Cade Ellingson goes off the glass to make it a 1-point game. And another barn burner tonight. Clock winding down here. We're tied at 61. Troy Reeves is open, and the bucket is good. La Follette taking the lead with 2 seconds left. They hang on 63-61 the final. Jay Wilson caught up with the hero of the game after the win.
What a battle, and La Follette wins at home by 2 because Troy Reeves hit the game-winning shot. And Troy, tell us about that last play. What were you trying to accomplish, and how did it play out?
That last play, we were just trying to get the best shot possible, and I just saw it be wide open under the basket. And I knew once I got it, I had to hit it. So.
Did you know that Dylan Schaefer, the big guy from Memorial, was coming at you too on that last year?
Yeah, I knew he was coming, but I just stayed focused.
Yeah. Now, you had a tough loss at East. You almost knocked off the #1 team of the state at the time. But ever since then, you guys seem to be putting it together. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we just know that we can still win conference, even with that loss, because they lost tonight. So.
Yeah. So you're still in this conference race, basically. Well, good for you. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Thanks. Troy Reeves and La Follette, big win tonight.
It's a big weekend in women's college hockey. The top 2 ranked teams facing each other in the border battle. #1 Wisconsin visiting #2 Minnesota, so you know this was going to be good. First period action here, Badgers on the power play, and it would be Emily Clark, the Olympian, with the goal. Wisconsin on the board first, 1-0. Gophers would even it up in the second, but Maddie Rowe here hitting the back of the net. Sneaky goal there. Badgers back in the lead and would hang on to win. Game 1 of the border battle goes to Wisconsin. Game 2 tomorrow back at Ritter Arena. The men's hockey team hosting Notre Dame tonight at the Kohl Center. First period action, Irish up 2-0. That is until Keandre Miller lights the lamp for the Badgers to cut the deficit in half. Later, Wisconsin would tie it up. Roman Akan beating the goalie glove side. That one a laser. Evens it up. We are tied. A little bit later, Peter Tischke shoots. That goal is no good, but Tarek Baker, the rebound in the crease. Wisconsin up 3-2, but Notre Dame scoring a few more in the third period. Badgers lose 6-4. Game 2 on Sunday at the United Center in Chicago. On to the big game this weekend for basketball. Second-ranked Michigan in town for an 11 a.m. tip-off tomorrow morning on ESPN. The Wolverines are one of 2 teams in the country that are currently undefeated, the other one being Virginia. Now, head coach John Beilein's squad has won 31 of its last 32 games. They're coming off of a 20-point win over Northwestern. 4 players were in double-digit scoring, and the team as a whole scoring 11 three-pointers. Badgers, though, they're coming off of a loss at Maryland and will try to bounce back. We'll be right back.
1:17 still on the shot clock.
Well, there's Doppler tracking. You can see the snow extends back into Minnesota and Iowa, so it'll be snowing for a while. Still very steady snow across all of southern Wisconsin. Visibilities right now, 3/4 of a mile in Madison and a half mile in Dubuque, Iowa. So that's where the heaviest snow is. Snow totals 5 to 8 inches south of Madison.
All right, Gary, thanks. We'll have the latest on News 3 this morning.
Do something good and have a great weekend.